also reminded me of a good quote that I saw. I just put it on my Facebook this morning. It was a quote from a trading psychologist that I just recently stumbled upon. I'm very interested in checking out her work because she does trading psychology, but then she also does, I think, sports. She works with professional athletes as well, which is kind of, my background is athletics and trading. Named Denise Scholl. But pretty good quote. She said, "Avoiding the crushing feeling is what keeps people in positions they should get out of." Period. Does that make sense to any of you guys? Avoiding the crushing feeling is what keeps people in positions they should get out of. This is the whole pain avoidance thing, right? To take it to a deeper level, right? Basically, all of our actions, all right, in life are caused by basically one or two motivations. One is to avoid pain. The other is to chase pleasure, right? And when you're in a trade like yesterday where it looks like you're going to be stopped out, price action is maybe playing around, dancing around a few pips above your stop loss, and you know that the pain of being stopped out is about to happen, right? You felt that pain before, you didn't like it, you don't want to feel it again. So what is the first thing you do? Not you guys, right? Because you guys are on the path to being consistent, profitable traders. But talking about traders in general, what's the first thing that typically happens? You move stops, yeah. You hope it turns around and you move stops. And why do we move stops? Again, it's one thing to know what we do, our actions, but you can't really solve these problems until you understand the why. And we move our stops to avoid the crushing feeling, right? As long as I move that stop loss back, my order is still on the board. I don't get the pain of being out of a trade, and I still have the hope, right? I still have the hope that price can reverse, right? I start crossing my fingers, knocking on wood, doing whatever rituals I have, right? And we hang on to that hope. Have you guys ever been there? Give me a yes. You're in a trade, you know you shouldn't be in it, but you're hanging on to that hope. You hang on. You push the stop back, you push the stop back, hanging on. And then what eventually always happens? Eventually we get stopped out. So we end up achieving the same result, right? The stop out is the result. We end up achieving the same result. We end up feeling, I was going to say the same pain, but actually, we probably end up feeling more pain, right? Because we achieved the same result, but now we had more at stake. We lost even more than we were supposed to. Hoping and praying and trying to avoid that feeling. It always reminds me of growing up. I wasn't the best student, right? I wasn't really motivated that much in school. But it reminds me of growing up, right? Don't tell my parents this. Hopefully they don't know about YouTube. But growing up, I had a few bad report cards. A couple bad report cards, right? And I knew the report cards were bad. And this is when they would mail it back home. I don't know how they do it now, but they would mail the report card home. So I'd try to make sure I get home early that day. I'd make sure I try to grab the mail before my parents get home from work. And what do you think I'd do with that report card? I hide it. I don't want my parents to see, right? Because I know if my parents see that report card, I'm going to get in trouble, right? They're going to see that bad grade. I'm going to get in trouble. I don't want to get that crushing feeling. So I hide it. And then eventually what happens, because, I guess, kids aren't the smartest. Eventually they find out about it. Parents are a little smarter than we think. They say, you know what? There probably should have been a report card coming in soon. Maybe it got lost in the mail. Let's call the school and see if we can get an extra copy. And eventually they get that report card. Or maybe they realize that I was hiding it. Maybe I lied to my parents about hiding it. I'm just digging myself into a deeper hole, right? But eventually it catches up to me. It always does. And now Instead of just taking my medicine of having a bad grade, I'm taking my medicine of having a bad grade. I'm taking my medicine from hiding the report card from him, from lying to him, and it just gets worse. When I could have just easily ripped the Band-Aid off fast, taken my punishment, and moved on. And that's what trading is, guys. When you lose a trade, take your medicine, take your punishment, move on. Don't make it worse than it needs to be, because losses are going to happen. I read another quote in yesterday's, I'm not sure if it was here or in the yesterday YouTube video, but the trader there was a trader, I've been going through quotes of some of my favorite trading quotes. I want to make some more of these designs for you guys. I have a passion for like this art type stuff. But it was a trader who said, hey, if you're winning 6 out of every 10 trades, you're doing great. You know what 6 out of 10 trades is, guys? 60% for you non-math majors. That's only 10% more than 50-50. That's only 10% more than losing as much as you win. So losses are going to happen. Accept it. Accept it. Accept the loss. Don't be afraid of the loss. Are you guys afraid of losing? Is it an ego thing? Is it a pride thing? What makes you guys, seriously, answer that question. What makes you fear losses? Is it the money? Is it losing money? Is it a pride saying, oh man, I'm not as good as I thought? Is it an ego thing? Thinking that we have to win every trade? Why do we associate losses with being bad? I don't think losses are bad anymore. I used to. And most traders do. But I'm serious. Why? It's the I don't want to be wrong, like you personally, right? I think that's what it mostly is. I mean, if you think about it like this, if your risk management is on point, if you have a good position sizing, which maybe most traders don't have, so maybe that's why it is, but if you're trading with a good position size, is a single loss ever going to hurt you financially? Think about it. We did the math a few years ago. I think I needed to take 200 straight losses in a row to blow my account. To give you an example of how small you should be trading. Yeah, so it's not if it's not the money, it's got to be the ego and the pride, our natural need to be right, I guess you would say. I think that's what it is. Our need to be right. Just like in an argument, right? When we argue with someone, we need to be right. We want to be right, even if we're wrong. I got a sign on my wall, right? It says the moment when you realize you're wrong in an argument, but you keep insisting you're right just for fun. I think it's that. If we can shift that mindset and realize that losses aren't bad, you're going to go much further as a trader. So the key is, right, I want you guys to change this goal today. Today's the last day you're going to have the goal of avoiding losses for anyone that had that goal. No more avoiding losses. Losses are going to come. You take your medicine. It's part of the game, right? Quarterbacks are going to throw interceptions. Soccer players are going to commit intercepted passes, right? Too early to talk about soccer, stupid USA. Anyway, the key is when you take your losses, minimize them. And I guarantee if you focus on minimizing your loss, they're not going to bother you as much. And when they don't bother you as much, you stop making mistakes like moving stops backwards, and you avoid those massive losses that are game-changing losses. So don't let a simple loss become a game-changing loss. And that way it will never eat into your wins. Because the problem that most traders have is not winning. I think any trader can find wins. The problem is when they lose, they give back more than what they win. And that's what you want to avoid. Receivers are going to drop balls. Yep. Stuff happens, right? You can change that first word to another 4-letter word if you want. How do I minimize the losses? Well, it comes with proper stop placement. It comes with putting yourself in a position where you're far enough from, you give yourself enough room for the market to breathe, meaning you don't have your stop loss so tight that the market has no breathing room. You want to give yourself room to breathe because the market knows that traders like to do dumb stuff like put their stops right below certain levels, and the market will go down there and get you and make you feel bad. But you also want to put them close enough so that you're not giving away extra pips. So it's about finding that balance. It's something called maximum adverse excursion. But you want to put your stop loss in a place where you know you're wrong. And sometimes you'll still be skunked out. I get skunked out. When I say skunked out, I mean like when the market hits your stop loss and then reverses right away. That's still going to happen no matter what. But you want to minimize those. So it's about proper stop placement. That and active trade management. Active trade management, meaning managing your stop while you're in a trade, meaning reducing risk when a trade is going in your favor. That's a big game changer. That was probably the biggest game changer for me. And this is when I changed this mindset of, hey, I don't want to avoid losses. I don't care about avoiding losses. I'm just going to take my average loss from 30 pips to 20 pips. If I chop off 10 pips on my average loss, right, by different methods, and let's say I take about, how many trades do I take a year? Man, let's say I take about 2,000 trades a year. I probably don't take that much. No, maybe 2,000 trades a year. If I take about 2,000 trades a year, and let's say I'm 55%, so what's 55% of 2,000? It's gonna be 850, something like that. Math majors, come on, math majors. No, 900. So 900 of those trades are losses, right? If I take my average loss and I subtract it from 30 pips to 20 pips and save 10 pips on average, do the math on how much that saves you. Yes, yeah, there are rules for everything. Yeah, there are rules for moving stops to break even. There are rules for when you trail them, how you trail them, if you trail them. Yep, everything needs to be rule based. Everything needs to be rule based. Yep. So, all right. Now that I got that 15-minute rant out the way, was that worth it, guys? Was that worth 15 minutes of your time? Hope so. We can get to the charts now. I don't know where that came from, but it ended up being good. Good. I think it's because I got a really good reaction from yesterday's video. Typically, the videos where I'm talking about losing, they're always more popular than the ones where normal ones. I had a video one time. I was like, "Hey guys, Kill Stokes here, and I've stunk the entire month." And yeah, like okay, maybe I should. It's crazy. Not too surprising though, because again, my career in coaching started off of being a bad trader. Before I was actually a coach, I just journaled and blogged just because I needed to reflect, and I thought like a diary was a non-manly thing to do. So I was like, let me just start a blog. That sounds a lot manlier. And I was blogging about making trading mistakes and how it was bad and stuff like that, and people started thumbs upping it and liking it and sharing it, and I'm like, you realize I just told you I made 5 mistakes today and almost blew my account. They're like, yeah, I did the same thing. Good to see that we're in the same boat. I'm like, okay. That's how my career started, guys. I was good at being bad. Good at being bad. That's what I tell the ladies. I don't really tell them that. I'm lying. Don't tell my wife. All right.